There's a trend on TikTok right now where parents are talking about why they don't want their kids going to sleepovers, and I figured I'd chime in with my story. I was a freshman in high school. We had a bus driver named Bob. Everybody at my house knew Bob. My grandparents knew Bob. My mom knew Bob. My aunt and uncles knew Bob. They all grew up with the family. He lived right down the street from me, so everybody knew him. He would come to our bus stop in the morning. He would drive past our bus stop, and every once in a while he would pick us up on a cold morning, and we'd ride in his car over to the bus stop. We'd be the first one from the bus. It was chill. Bob was a really cool guy. He was very chill, very nice guy. And he would bring his son on the bus every once in a while, and his son was about 2 years younger than us. We were about 14, 15, and son was about 12, 13. So we kind of got along with him, but not really. But my friend, who was also at my bus stop, ended up being friends with his son. I never really became friends with the kid. He was kind of weird. But anyway, my friend would end up going over Bob's house for sleepovers. And, you know, they'd have a bunch of neighborhood kids, and they would all sleep over and just have a good time, watch movies, I guess. I don't know, whatever. I never ended up going. I was just not, friends with the kid like that. So, one year, my sophomore year, I believe it was, Bob disappeared. He never came back. We had multiple bus drivers after that, and they had no idea where Bob went. Bob was one of the reasons why I became a bus driver, because he taught me everything about buses. He showed me the shifter. He showed me the engine. I mean, he would show me cool things about the bus that I just never knew. So, to me, Bob wasn't like a creep. Bob was just a chill guy. But Bob disappeared one day. He never came back, and we never saw him again. So, fast forward about 3 years, and I'm sitting in a restaurant, and I'm with my girlfriend's dad, and he's reading the newspaper, and he tells me, yo, this guy in your town is accused of selling his son to a man in New York for favors. If you know, you know. And he turns the paper around and shows me a mugshot, and the guy was Bob. That was my bus driver. Never saw it coming. Never had any idea that this guy was like this. So the entire time that we were hanging out with his son, he was bringing him to New York to another man and selling him for favors. My friend slept over his house. My friend had multiple sleepovers. They would go swimming in the pool. I mean, as far as I know, nothing happened. I mean, I asked my friend after all this happened. I reached out to him, and he told me nothing ever happened. He never had any indication that Bob was like this. But the only thing that I do remember that kind of resonates and sticks with me is that Bob would say that whenever they had sleepovers, Bob would go outside the basement window where all the kids were sleeping, and he would look in to make sure nothing weird was going on. Now, I don't know what he meant by nothing weird was going on, but whenever I went to sleepovers, I mean, we were just chilling, watching movies, you know. So that was kind of weird to me that a grown man's going outside a window looking at a bunch of teenage boys, but, you know, I digress. It just goes to show you that even if you know the person, even if you know the person at your kid's house is, you know, they're going to, you don't really know the person. Especially in today's day and age, a lot of people aren't who they claim to be. And my bus driver was one of the chillest people you could ever meet. If you met him in real life, he was a nice guy, and he ended up being a monster. As far as I know, he's still in jail. I don't know how long he's in jail for. There's more to the story than what I just talked about. So if you guys want to hear more of the story, I'll tell you guys. But yeah, just beware if you're letting your kids go to somebody else's house. You just never know. You just never know.